Welcome to the Great Emu War of 1932, Australia versus the birds. We are diving into one of the most peculiar military engagements in history. In 1932, the Australian government declared war, not against a country or an ideology, but against a flightless bird, the emu.
The enemy was formidable in numbers, an estimated 20,000 emus. This was the setting for a conflict that would go down in history.
The Australians were armed with modern weaponry for the time, specifically Lewis machine guns. They expected a quick victory against the birds.
The result? One of the most embarrassing military defeats in human history. A modern army was outsmarted by a flock of birds. Today, we're going deep into the trenches of the Great Emu War. First, let's explore why the military got involved in this unusual conflict.
The emus were devastating crop yields in Western Australia. The local farmers were desperate, viewing the huge flocks as an invasion force.
These flightless birds were causing significant economic damage, pushing already struggling Australian farmers to the brink during a difficult economic period.
To understand the war, we have to look at the invaders themselves, the emus.
The emu is Australia's largest native bird, second only to the ostrich globally. They are flightless, but surprisingly agile and fast runners. Emus proved to be incredibly tough and resilient. Their speed and ability to scatter made them extremely difficult targets for the machine guns. In the end, the emus' natural instincts and the challenging terrain allowed them to outsmart a modern army, leaving behind a truly unbelievable historical footnote.
Welcome to Chapter 2, The Emu Invasion, a historical account of a unique conflict in Australian history. We begin after World War I, where returning veterans were given land to start wheat farms in Australia. These land grants were meant to help the former soldiers establish a new life as wheat farmers. But by 1932, the global economy collapsed, and the Great Depression severely impacted these new farms. As if economic hardship wasn't enough, an unexpected force arrived, the emus. An estimated 20,000 emus migrated inland, searching for food and water. They soon discovered the farmers' lush wheat fields, a perfect, abundant food source. The emus began a path of total destruction, posing an existential threat to the struggling farms. They didn't just consume the crops, they also caused widespread damage simply by moving through the fields. Even worse, the emus tore down fences, allowing rabbits to swarm in and finish off whatever wheat was left. Desperate and losing everything, the farmers appealed to the government for immediate help. As former soldiers themselves, they turned directly to the Minister of Defense for a military solution. They didn't want simple scouts or deterrents. They wanted machine guns to deal with the emu threat decisively.
Welcome to Chapter 3 of the Emu War. Today we cover the first skirmish, a pivotal moment in this bizarre conflict. The first major engagements of the Emu War revealed the unexpected challenges facing the military and the surprising resilience of the emus. The war officially commenced on November 2nd, marking the beginning of the military operation against the emu population. The first encounter was a straightforward attempt by the troops to engage a small group of the birds. Major G.P.W. Meredith commanded a small troop, tasked with executing the initial military strategy. Their equipment included 2 Lewis guns and a substantial 10,000 rounds of ammunition, indicating a planned, sustained effort. They spotted their first target, a group of approximately 50 emus. The soldiers opened fire, hoping to make a quick and effective impact on the flock. However, the emus quickly scattered at high speed, making them incredibly difficult targets. The initial result was disappointing, with only a handful of birds actually hit. A few days later, a second strategy was deployed, an ambush at a local dam, anticipating the birds would gather there for water. This time, a much larger target appeared, a flock of approximately 1,000 emus approaching the dam. The soldiers patiently waited for the perfect moment, allowing the emus to come into point-blank range for maximum effect. What happened next turned a promising opportunity into a tactical failure. Just as the soldiers were about to open fire, the gun jammed at the critical moment, rendering their firepower useless. The emus, once again, escaped completely unharmed, highlighting the mechanical vulnerability of the operation. It was becoming clear that the emus were utilizing, quote, guerrilla tactics, proving smarter and more elusive than the soldiers anticipated. The first skirmish was a wake-up call, proving that this was no ordinary military operation. The challenges of the first skirmish set the stage for a difficult campaign ahead, one full of unexpected twists and turns.
Welcome to Chapter 4 of our series on the Great Emu War, covering the retreat. This section covers the embarrassing failure of the military operation and the subsequent withdrawal of forces. The initial week of the Emu War quickly revealed the unexpected challenge posed by the Emu forces. Despite their preparation, the military severely underestimated the enemy. By the end of the first week, the army had expended 2,500 rounds, resulting in the deaths of only a few hundred birds. Major Meredith, leading the operation, was absolutely stunned by the low kill count and the birds' resilience. The emus demonstrated surprising strength, resilience, and tactical advantage. Meredith made a famous quote, saying that if he had a military division with the, quote, bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, he could face any army in the world. The emu's ability to absorb hits and their unexpected speed and agility frustrated the military's efforts. The lack of progress quickly caught the attention of the public and media, leading to widespread scrutiny. The media began mercilessly mocking the government and the army's unsuccessful military campaign. Headline after headline sensationally declared that the emus win first round, painting the operation as a failure. The mounting pressure left the government with only one choice: to call off the operation. Facing intense public scrutiny and embarrassment, the government could no longer justify the operation. Under mounting pressure, the military was formally ordered to withdraw their forces from the field. The first phase of the Emu War concluded with a victory for the birds. The emus remained in the fields, undefeated by the military. Stay tuned for the next chapter of the Emu War. Welcome back to the series loop. We've got two bizarre historical facts for you today. We explore strange historical anomalies and fascinating timeline glitches. First up, the Great Emu War, a bizarre reminder that sometimes nature simply cannot be tamed by technology. It was a true glitch in military history that still leaves historians scratching their heads. The thought of an army losing to birds is strange enough, but that's just the start of our historical oddities today. Let's transition to a different kind of timeline oddity. Did you know that a Japanese samurai technically could have sent a fax to Abraham Lincoln? It sounds impossible, but this is a genuine, incredible timeline glitch. I've made a full video explaining exactly how that samurai fax was even possible. Click the screen now to dive into the full story.